Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the stream. This is our second installation. We just finished a 2-game streak. We first won with a purple draconian transmuter, and we then made a new character, and then won as a demigod transmuter. So what will our next character be? I have a few thoughts about this. Transmuter has been really fun to play. I really want to do something different, but Transmuter's been really fun to play. And we've been kind of doing this thing where we've been trying to win every background as a kobold. And that makes us think about going back and playing a kobold. So, we have won 13 games as a kobold. And we have not won as a transmuter yet. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go kobold transmuter. So this is going to be kind of the hard mode version of what we've been playing, because our hit points are going to be much smaller. We will have some better dodging though, which is kind of nice. So what we're going to do here is we're going to focus fighting and get a few levels of fighting, and then we'll turn on unarmed combat. Because we don't have very much experience right now. Dodging is going to be useful, but the thing is, if we spend that experience on dodging, we're not even going to go up to 16 evasion. Now it's cheap, but what we really need to be able to do is attack enemies and kill them. We really don't even need the transmutation, but we will eventually need the transmutation. So we're going to keep that on, and we'll later pick up some poison magic, probably. But the poison magic isn't going to help us right now, and the fighting actually is going to help us right now. So, anyhow, that's the thought process. Haven't really decided on what deity would be fun to play, but I guess we'll just get there when we get there. So we started the dungeon in a level where we had to open a door. Good morning, Sataric. It's kobold time indeed. One thing we're going to have to remember is that it's the very beginning of the game. We're extremely weak. Everything can kill us. Make sure to check the weapons. We'll recast Beastly Appendage just to be safe. And this is not great already. We should be fighting enemies one by one. Alright, so right off the gate, we find a book of geomancy. Nothing that's really going to immediately help us, but Stone Arrow can be pretty good. It's probably not as good as Ice Form. generally good to avoid opening doors. Sometimes they make noise. And anytime you're going around a corner, it's a little dangerous. The optimal play would be to avoid that and manually explore everywhere. But it's usually good enough to auto-explore. You just kind of have to be aware of that. Because right now, if we were to go around the corner and come across an enemy like an adder, it may very well kill us. We don't have anything identified besides Potion of Lignification. And we probably won't have any of it identified, at least for a little bit. So the Lignification is definitely going to help a lot if we find ourselves in that situation. But we only have one, and then that's it. One attempt. You know, I don't have these on YouTube, and I don't have any videos on YouTube, but I actually recorded all of the Demigod Transmuter, and I'm recording this as well, and I'm in the process of stitching the files together. They're pretty large, several hundred megabytes per clip. But if I manage to get them into roughly 2-hour segments, we'll have 7 segments. So that's kind of what my thought is. So there are no videos yet, but once I have the videos, it'll just be the same name as the Twitch stream, and then I'll also update the social on Twitch. I kind of want to make a guide or something, but I don't know, I don't really know. For now, it's, you know, I was trying to do something that I hadn't done before with the streak, and now the pressure is even higher because I have the the Kobold thing. I played so many games as Kobold. Like, I've already played 33 Kobold Transmuters, and that was kind of the impetus for me to go Draconian. It's because I'm like, man, I keep dying as Kobold. Let's go for a better race. So I guess we'll see if we die. Alright, so Dungeon 1 clear without really much issue. All of that experience, basically, it took our transmutations from 2 to 2 3/5, and it took our fighting up from roughly 1.5 to 2 1/10. We're probably good enough to where we can turn unarmed combat back on. I'd really like to get a little more fighting though. I guess I can focus the fighting and then turn on unarmed. Yeah, and Satiric, that's a good question. I was just thinking, man, as a kobold, it would be a shame to not take advantage of a little bit of stealth. And I think that's where we're gonna deviate from the normal transmuter play. We gotta pick up at least a little stealth. It's so cheap. And because we're wearing robes, we really need... Let's rush this up to 3. Because as we talk about things that can save us, stealth is one of those things. But you have to have a certain amount of it. Being a tiny bit stealthy is not very helpful. But once you get moderately stealthy, And I don't mean that in a specific sense, I mean like in a general sense. It's really helpful. Okay, we're just gonna run away and exclude that staircase. We don't really want to fight Terrence. So, yeah, we're gonna have to balance several things. I think the stealth will help. And then the question of where do we put our stat gain? If we put it in dex, it's going to help our stealth, it'll help our dodging. It's basically what we need late game. If we do intelligence, it means that we don't have to devote as much experience into our spell schools, which means we have more experience for dodging, fighting unarmed. I think these are two pretty compelling cases, because if you get the dexterity now, you get a benefit right now. 15 dex is not a lot. It's a lot for a brand new character. So the dexterity would be really nice. But reducing the amount of experience necessary to get spell schools is actually super important. Particularly because we don't even know what spells we're going to cast. And most of them are going to be dual school. So we're going to get the intelligence. We really have to get our forms castable. Like that's... if we can't do that by layer, then we're going to have a really bad time. Unless we got lucky in other areas. So, because we have a little bit better of a fighting aptitude, and because we have a fantastic stealth aptitude, we're going to pick those up. So that'll leave our character a little behind from the vanilla transmuter, so to speak. Now, this weapon, what a find. +8 short sword of disorder. It's Vorpal, it has a stealth bonus, and it gives us intellect, and we are going to immediately wield it. This weapon is going to be insanely helpful to kill things in the beginning. It basically means we don't have to worry about our unarmed combat, and we can put experience into it. This is a case to continue putting points into fighting, because primarily we're going to be using the fighting skill for the damage and the accuracy. Probably doesn't make much difference, because the weapon itself is going to do so much. The int 7 is going to make all of our spells more castable. In fact, it would be very easy to pick up a few levels of short blades, because this +8 short sword will take us all the way through layer. Especially if we do stabbing stuff, which is another good reason to train stealth. If we think there's any possibility of doing stabbing, we're going to want stealth. So maybe we see the beginnings of a character coming in, that maybe we can turn our character into a stabber that can also morph into a form. We can also just continue playing it as a transmuter and pretend we never got the short sword and continue skilling the way we were going to, and then just kind of use it as better than unarmed until we get a form up. Experience is in real short supply, and even though it's inexpensive to get, like our attack delay is 1.1. If we added a little bit of experience, we could get that to 1. It might actually be worth it, but let's just see how powerful it is. Like, we should one-shot the rat. We should one-shot goblins. Hey, Cabochon Ring. Ring of poison resist. Yeah, adapting to the items, I agree. The short sword itself isn't in-game material. And the question on using short blades or not, we kind of could and just immediately do a pivot. But I'm gonna say what we would need to make sure is to preserve our mid and late game killing ability. And we know for sure if we have spider form and ice form, we can clear lair. Like, we know that, we've done that. So it doesn't behoove us to get crazy and ignore those, because we might not find any better weapon. But what we're going to do is we're going to continue to train fighting, and if we do find a great weapon, we can put some weapon skill in it. We can even put some weapon skill in this, but I'm not in a rush. So luckily Terrence is only wearing some ringmail, and he only has a normal hand axe. I think we can probably kill Terrence, no problem. Yeah, because we found this insanely good sword. Yeah, we can even two-shot adders, so we're doing pretty well. For stealth, we were going to get at least 3 in. That seems pretty good. Now's, you know, we might not even need spider form, to be honest. So all I'm saying by that is maybe we avoid putting experience into poison magic. Because last game we got it up into like 5 or something. So maybe we can avoid that and just go transmutation. That would get ice form castable more quickly. And at least that gives us a solution for amphibians and hydras. Because those are going to be tough. Alright, so we'll just think about that, but that means that we can continue doing what we're doing with transmutations. We'll unfocus stealth, and we'll just keep going. We're going to have a short bio break, actually, before we go down onto Dungeon 3, but this is a third streak potential. We are on a streak right now. And we've won with 13 other kobolds, and this is a kobold that we haven't won yet. Oh boy. Alright, so we'll return shortly. So shortly, I'll put it on the playtime. What we've been listening to is a public playlist on Spotify. In the chat. The playlist is called Ultima Online, and it's by the user Sangreal. So, a whole bunch of different stuff. Anyways, be right back. Alright, and we're back. So we're gonna go down to Dungeon 3, and we're gonna pretend that we did not find any amazing weapon, and we're not gonna let it get to our head. Prime example, we go down the stairs and we see 2 adders. Are we going to go for it and say, hey, if we can stab this adder, we'll have a better tactical advantage, knowing that we're then surrounded by 2 adders? I'll say yes. Dead. This one's not going so well, but I think we're okay. At this point, it's so cheap to get 2 levels of short blades and just get our attack delay a little better. I know we're spreading our experience out a lot, but to go from 1.1 to 1.0 is a sizable damage increase. And besides, there's a little bit of damage increase just with the weapon skill, and then we found a +6 ring of dexterity. That is going to take our damage rating from 13 to 14. So we basically got an extra sleigh. It made our evasion slightly better. And it's helped our stealth. We already have 4 pips or over 200 stealth. You are right, Crassitator. This isn't a demigod transmuter. The demigod transmuter ascended with the orb. Last night, 3 runes. It was our first streak ever, and this is the very next character. The demigod transmuter was pretty fun. Lots of health. I didn't really notice the increased mana pool, but I also didn't train spellcasting until the end. The hit points were nice, and then the targeted stat gains were super nice as well. Gozag is pretty tempting. We'll get some stab potential. The potion effects are great. The ability to call merchants is great. The fact that Gozag is early makes Gozag even better. We just came from a character that had no god abilities whatsoever. Now granted, their makeup was a little more favorable to winning. So do we think that Gozag will allow us to call merchants and buy good enough jewelry to stack up to not having other abilities, knowing that we also get the bonuses of the distraction, and then we have potion petition to kind of fall back on? I think we just go for it. I think we go for Gozag. It doesn't take any extra experience. That's really my main concern. I want to have a deity that doesn't take any experience away. And to be clear, I mean a deity that doesn't use invocation. Yeah. So there are many that don't use invocation. Gozag is one of them. One thing we got to be careful for is we're exploring around and we see these goblins and hobgoblins. We need to make sure that if we see one, that we don't just rush in and stab it, because, or at least not without considering the possibility that it could be Robin, or there could be a huge pack. It's a good lesson to the early player. What may appear to be benign can quickly get out of control, so plan appropriately. And I would actually go so far as to say that a kobold short blade and unarmed combat transmuter is really not so far-fetched. It doesn't take much short blade skill to get good delay. You have a fantastic aptitude, right? Same with stealth. So basically, for the same price that another race, if you're like, you know what, I'm gonna get stealth on a draconian, and so you trained it up and you got your dexterity good and you had good stealth. As a kobold, you basically get short blades and stealth for that same cost, or stealth is just a lot cheaper. So that's why I think it actually could make a decent bit of sense. So what we did is we made sure and we checked our damage rating on the short sword. It was 13, and then we put on this dex ring, it went up to 14. So I'm trying to see if our damage rating is going to go up by the time we get to 2 short blade skill. It's not that I'm specifically concerned about the damage rating, because the thing I'm mostly concerned about is the attack delay, and I know that that's getting better. But I'm doing it out of curiosity because this is a new thing that they put in the interface this year, actually. And it's a good example of great information on the interface. Unfortunately, there's no way to look at your hands and see your unarmed damage, but, you know, it's a step in the right direction. I think we come back to the Zord Priest. We're not going to find anything specifically right now. If we come back when we're XL6 or something, it might be better. Dungeon 4 is kind of this big wide open area, and then there's a bunch of, you know, rock columns, you know, stalactites, stalagmites, obscure your line of vision all over, and you can kind of see through some of them, but it's still a wide open area with not really any choke points, so things could escalate and get bad pretty quickly. It's weird, I thought there was gold there. I guess there's a wandering humanoid. And they picked something up that was shiny. Could be that hobgoblin. It's generally not a good idea to fight in areas that you haven't explored. So, like, even though it would be cool to grab that potion, like, it's not gonna make any difference. Like, it's not like we're about to immediately use it. There's no reason to rush after it. You can always auto-explore later. And in fact, when you leave them on the ground, it can serve as a good visual reminder on area that you haven't maybe quite cleared yet. And then when you clear it, you're kind of affirming, like, yeah, it's safe. And I don't remember, Gozag does give a bonus for, like, distracting. Like, your enemies may become distracted by gold. And it used to be that it was only gold on the ground, and I think you had to engage in this tedious play that you left gold in piles. But I think there might still be a bonus. And I see it as a way of encouraging non-auto exploration. Kind of a cool leather armor. Have resist poison. And strength. Strength will help unarmed combat damage, at least marginally. Alright, so we finally got our attack delay down to 1. Our damage rating on the short sword hasn't changed. So I was pretty lucky to find this short sword in all seriousness. It basically is our solution to things, and that's why we're continuing to pick up more stealth. Stealth is still really cheap, and you can see how effective the stealth has been so far in Dungeon 4. We basically haven't had to engage anything that we didn't want to. We are going to try and skip this pack for right now. We don't have any fire resist or cold resist or anything like that, and we don't have very good willpower. And we could get confused, and, you know, maybe it's not the most dangerous thing, but you can look at the stats. The spells do 3 dice 4 damage. 50% confused, they can go invisible. That Orc Priest Vault that we ran away from in Dungeon 3 is way easier than this, because it's a hallway and they're already asleep. This, the Orc Wizard, could really ruin us. If we got instantly confused and we, like we right now, we don't even know what Potion of Curing is or if we have one, it's not a good strategy. Probably could take the Orc Priest, but we really have a small amount of HP, so we're just going to go down to Dungeon 5. Kind of hoping it was a sewer or something, but that's how it is. Scroll of Teleportation, that's a little dangerous. Let's make sure to get Beastly Appendage just in case. Turned out alright. And then we got Enchant Armor. Alright, so let's explore around Dungeon 5. So, what our hope is to get our killing power up pretty high. You know, standard killing power. We'll stop our stealth at 4 and our short blades at 2. We'll get some more experience in our basic stuff. And then, we need to think about picking up ice magic. I know our transmutation isn't very high, but we'll probably need at least skill level 7 in transmutation and ice magic to get ice form up. So we just found an Ice Blast wand, 2 charges for 70 gold. Compared to Gozag Potion Petition, that's nothing. A Wand of Flame would take half our gold and would honestly be pretty good. But because we have stealth at the moment and short blades, I think we probably shouldn't put a whole lot more experience into evocation. I mean, if we found the Wand of Flame, it would be different. Now, of course, here's a situation where if we had the Wand of Flame, it would be really nice to have. So let's just go and buy it. Because that acid damage can do a lot. like extra acid damages itself, like 3d4 or something like that. Maybe it's 4d3. I think it's 4d3. And we are covered a little bit. We have a cloak, but let's just get the Wand of Flame. And we may as well get 1 rank of evocations, because as a kobold, you get a bonus to it. So let's at least get 1. And we could avoid the jelly, but the jelly is going to be relatively straightforward to eliminate. Alright, Wand of Flame. 2 hits, we'll leave it there. Alright, so this is awful. This water moccasin is gonna wreck us. Like, super wreck us. Gotta use Potion of Lignification, kinda wreck us. We do have a Scroll of Fear, but I actually think we can use our Ice Blast and kill these things. If we use the Ice Blast and it still doesn't work, let's see. The iguana does have a lot of health. We can get poisoned. And then the iguana also does 15 damage, so we can get 2-shotted. So maybe we should even haste ourselves right now. No, we won't haste ourselves. Let's just do the Ice Blast. Let's see how it works. Well, let's do the Ice Blast again. Yeah, that was an excellent 70 gold well spent at the Elemental Curio shop. Oh, cool, Soteric. I didn't see your message from earlier that you can see unarmed damage in version 0.3. Silly me, I thought I've been playing on 0.3 all along, but we're clearly not. This is 0.29. So we're getting a pretty decent amount of experience, which is good. The important part is that we continue allocating our experience into things that'll help us kill things with overwhelming surety. Beastly Appendage, since we don't have a shield, is actually pretty nice. And this is exactly what we wanted. More fighting, more transmutation, more unarmed. Try and wait on Ice Form, but we're going to go ahead and memorize them, because we're not going to memorize anything else in the meantime anyway. So Spider Form, capital P, Ice Form, capital I. I always make all my forms a capital letter. That was a new thing with the most recent game, and it's good. Yeah, thanks for the heads up. Is the secondary voice in the background still there? I think I can hear it, maybe? Alright, and then we'll try one more thing and see if we can eliminate the duplicate. I heard it last time, but I don't think I hear it now. Damn, we've just come right into this orc path. Orc wizard, 2 orc priests, and now an orc. There's like, I mean, we can retreat now, but they were over there. They got distracted by the gold. Look at that, that's a reason why you want stealth. We do have the buckler, so we will, in a sense, benefit from enchant armor. We don't really need the magic mapping at the moment. So maybe we can wait. Because if we get a time portal, it would be really nice to be able to use magic mapping. So let's see if we can wow, black bear. Probably we can take it, but like that one, it's almost killed us. If we weren't dead guy, we didn't have the extra hit points, we probably would have died. Kind of makes me want to put just one more level in the fight. Yeah, I had the monitoring on over my default sound device, so that was why it was echoing, but I turned the monitoring off. But we can't put all of our experience into that, because then we're not going to be able to kill anything, so it's definitely a balancing act. That's why we got that extra level of fighting in the beginning, but I think I'll go ahead and focus these, and then once we get our fighting, I'll unfocus the unarmed combat. So we have a pack of goblins here, which could be potentially really bad. It means there might be a robin pack here. And the sun, this is. Oh my god. Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right. There was a file playing in the background. It was because the file I ended up, the authoring got finished on it. It took a few hours because it's a 2-hour video, and it must have just started playing when I finished. Oh, how embarrassing. Hey, well, at least everybody knows that there's Satiric in the audience who is much more observant and intelligent about things like this than our streamer pilot here. I'm also not using a great setup. I'm using a lapel mic, and then my sounds are coming from speakers. I don't have a headset at the moment. That would normally be my go-to. Anyhow, we've been blabbing for a while. We gotta finish clearing Dungeon 5. We are almost to the lair, and we're kind of trying to push how much experience we can put into our meaty Buffy skills before we start spreading out into ice magic or poison magic. Well, I could hear it too. And I thought maybe it was interference on the speakers, or it was the monitoring. So thank you. When we take our next break, it'll be for a little bit longer, because I'm gonna start authoring on a second video. I want to author them all today and then upload them. Alright, so we just have the black bear here on Dungeon 5. So, I'll still put it on my playtime, but we're gonna pause the recording, but I'll still have Twitch open.